Foodies and Friends. I have it scheduled. I do not have it routed because my router just closed.
Okay. What route do you need?
I need. Oh, it's also not called up on CyberFox One yet. Shit.
Okay, I can set that up too.
It can go on one or two. It doesn't matter.
Okay, let me log in here.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I thought I had it routed, and I'm not. Because I'm not in AWS when I'm here, I don't have it. I can route it. I've got the router. If you want to get us up on YouTube.
Oh, I just got the router.
Okay. Okay.
Let me get the CyberFox. Okay. You already set up the event and everything?
Yeah, the event's live right now.
Oh, no, I meant on the web stream.
I did.
Oh, okay, got you. Come on. It's loading. Just being a little slow.
Yeah.
43, Fox TV. I'm going to make sure nobody's on server one. Okay, nobody's on.
What are folks doing with the money? The next slide.
Come on.
To the left, you can see 98.8% of folks.
Okay, I see your Foodies and Friends slate.
1% are buying services with it. This is a piece of information that we're
requesting for really trying to get to go full screen
all the time, and we struggle to.
Yeah, I think you're
okay,
there.
We're full screen now.
All right, I'm gonna roll the open.
Yep, go for it.
All right, see ya. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, no problem. Bye-bye.
And so part of the process we end up that those human beings.
This is a very special installment of Foodies and Friends with a very special guest. It's a very special night, and we're going to get into that. So thanks for joining us. Katie Stone is with us. Introduce our rock star guest, please.
Rock star, biggest guest that we've ever had. This is the infamous Chef Robert Del Grande. Annie fame. Woo! Like Ruben said, it's a super special night. It is, well, in addition to being 1 week away from Houston Restaurant Weeks, which is Monday, I hope you guys are making your reservations on Open Table or calling the restaurants directly. But tonight is also our HRW VIP kickoff party, which is why we're here at the Annie. And it's kind of been almost like planning a wedding.
Enough wine. We have enough wine.
We have a lot of wine, yes. And so, we're here, going to have a party tonight. Lots of, chefs and.
It's so exclusive that I couldn't get a ticket.
Well, yes, Ruben. We decided to invite him at the last minute.
I had to come in through the back entrance where they drop off the groceries.
So, of course, Chef is joining us for the party, but we're also getting a sneak peek of their HRW menu for 2022. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure, pleasure.
This is so fun because I know you did a lot of TV with my mom over the years.
I know, going way back when you said 2020, I was thinking our years was 19 something.
Yeah. So it's really, really special for me to be able to. I've done a segment with you in 2020, but it's just really special for me to be able to spend this time with you.
The first time I met Robert was on the show with Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. We were a guest, and she had somebody drop out, so she needed me to fill like 15 minutes. And I think I was like, you were doing the gin.
Oh, I think so. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
the
that's
gin.
right. Yeah.
And I told you I don't like gin. You said try my gin, and it was really good.
Yeah, it was designed for the non-gin drink.
Yeah, not that British kind of juniper-y vibe.
Not too
that
heavy.
I don't like.
Yeah, I wanted to smell like a garden, more fragrant.
That was really good gin, and I don't like gin.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like
But when
you.
Robert tells you to try something that he makes, you can't.
Yeah, you kind of listen to him.
Yeah.
We're
I kind of say that.
Yeah. So what's going on in your neck of the woods these days? Any fun news, or you guys recently had an announcement?
Yes, I'm taking this new position of Chef Emeritus here at the restaurant. So,
Yeah.
which I sort of borrowed from my university days. Oh, the Chef Emeritus.
Sounds pretty cool.
You still have an affiliation, but you don't have to peel carrots anymore, which is nice.
And what does that entail? How will your duties kind of differ? Because, you know, Burke Hospitality is expanding. They are taking over the world, if you guys didn't know that, but and you are assisting in that effort. But what kinds of things are you doing day to day now?
Well, you know, it's so that expansion thing, there's the front line, not so much me on the front line, you know, more further back. But no, mentorship role mainly. So I hope I've acquired some wisdom over the years from the bumps and bruises. And so the younger, particularly the kitchen chefs coming up, that helping them learn all the things I slowly learned more quickly.
Right.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
The trial and error ones say, hey, this will get you through. Build their careers, help them as culinarians and so forth.
How lucky are those guys?
Mentorship piece. Yeah, no, it's
wow,
good.
that would be a huge way to attract, you know, employees.
It's the one, yeah.
Like this guy as a mentor, that's pretty strong.
It's the one thing I always wanted was someone explain it to me. And at the time when we were all starting out, we were sort of these young American chefs, cooks, you know, and we didn't have anybody really to turn to. So I said, I hope someday I can be the one that they'll turn to and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. What do you think?
Man, what a recipe for success there.
Well, you were, and you know, you were instrumental in basically creating the food scene in Houston. I mean, and
True.
you know,
Well, I think I always sort of respect the tradition in history and sort of deep tradition. And so I was sort of joining the scene, and then we just wanted to do this, which at the time, and it was very French or continental and so forth, that we were these young rebels wanted to do American food. We wanted to do Texas food, right? We were going to do.
Put your stamp on it.
Yeah, and so that was sort of those pioneering days of trying to go somewhere and you're not sure where you're going. And so but that was fun. And so I think it was a guys at the time. And I remember my vision was, and I had very good friends in Dallas too, certainly, was to be sure that the word Houston was mentioned when they mentioned great food cities in the country. That was the simple goal.
Yeah.
So, and of course, did it take 1 week?
Took a while.
It takes a while,
It took a
but
while.
then you get there. I think now that, and I always tell this funny story, I would be in New York, some James Beard Theater, so, I'm so looking forward to going to California. Next time I get to Dallas, I'm definitely going to come to dinner. And I said, please do, but give yourself 3.5 hour drive to get there. They said, what?
South of Dallas.
Yeah, so it was like we didn't get any credit at all along the way. And then, so I said, we need to change that. And that has obviously definitely changed.
Well, things started to change, as you said, in those pioneering days. You were well ahead of your time, and you were very largely credited with creating the Tex-Mex cuisine.
Well, Southwest cooking, I think we were, you know, that was part of what we wanted to be sort of this, we wanted to elevate it, but the sense of home cooking. Like,
Sure.
What was it? And the thing that I remember, some people that influenced you, that's what I say along the way, you didn't get there on your own. A lot of people opened the doors and gave you good advice. One great food writer essentially said that he'd like to be blindfolded and taken to a city and then could tell what city he was in by what he was eating. So
cool.
that was kind of the idea, is that we need to do something that has a really Houston kind of feel to it, and that we could have that sense of locality to it. So we always, and I sort of latched on to the enchilada along the way. Yeah, I think that we could do something signature, and that's what sort of happened.
Yeah, for sure.
well, that's our segue into the food.
I know, yeah, I can't
Let's
wait.
talk
I'm
food.
so honored that we are
Let's
going
do
to get to have Chef explain what's on our foodie can here.
All right,
This
that's
does not look like your average salad, and all of these dishes are on the HRW 2022 menu for the Annie.
Yes. So I always, as a starting point, I always like to choose like one of my favorite things to be sure that we have my favorite stuff there.
Exactly.
I love that.
The kale salad actually started something I used to eat all the time. I would make it for myself, just a little, what they would call a chef salad, which meant you just went along and picked stuff and said,
Right.
now, have you ever thought about putting that on the menu? I said, I thought about it. You should try it. So it was one of those dishes that evolved from sort of something I was just, because I love salads that are sort of a study of texture. So a little And so this one actually has it's a texture of the kale with endive, little frise, little chewy bacon. It also has dried apples in it, which people say, why don't you use fresh apples? I said, I'm looking for this. This is all very chewy sort of salad. So, and they're delicious and sweet against the saltiness of the bacon. It's very, very, very tasty.
Yeah, because sometimes kale can be a little tough.
Yeah, so it's blended in Belgian endive and so forth. So, and a real balance between sweet and bitter, chewy, crunchy, this and that, all those different aspects.
So you're not a kale fan, or you haven't tried kale yet, this would probably be a good salad or meal for you to try.
It's a great blend.
Yeah.
All kale starts with, I heard it's good for you, and then you learn to like it.
Right.
But actually, it has a lot to do with the dressing and everything. But a lot of times, it's not it never gets limp. It always has a great texture to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes people with food, they sometimes forget the importance of texture.
I'm gonna swap out and I'm gonna try the kale salad because I admit, Chef, I have not had that much kale in outside of smoothies, I should say, just because maybe I just haven't had the right dish yet. Maybe this is what I need to do.
A buddy of mine says it's not food; it's a garnish.
It kind of was.
When
He's set in his ways.
Yeah, when I started out, it was the bulk of kale was used in refrigerated deli cases. Because it sort of held up. But then it can be as fresh, lightly crushed and tossed or roasted, all sorts of ways.
Yeah. I've learned to like it.
Yeah.
I must say, and I'm sure yours is fantastic. Katie, your thoughts?
It is very tasty.
Yeah. How about the texture that Robert was describing?
It's the perfect combination because I can see exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on here, but it's just the perfect ingredients. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool too.
It is really good, right?
So,
Yeah. So Chef, tell me about what happens these days, because you are such an incredible influence on, the menus and the items. What kind of influence will you have going forward on the hospitality menus and if any?
Over the last, we have some very good people in the kitchen. Really good. So it's fun to work with them. But I think it's not about, I want you to do my idea. Let me help you with your idea. So, and a lot of times it's, I had one of the chefs who I was working with him on dishes. And he says, you know what? I just realized something. I said, what? He said, you never tell me that you like it or not. I said, really? He said, yeah. You always ask me, have I thought about this? Have I thought about that? I said, well, me telling you that I like it or don't like it, that's fine, but anybody can say that.
Right.
I'm trying to get you to think about it a certain way. And that I gave him some, although he told me, thanks so much for that. I said, what, the little piece of wisdom you gave me? I said, okay, what did I give you? He said, you tell me, he said, don't fall in love with your first idea, make it better. He said, I always do that. I'm so in love with my idea, I don't want to. And so we went through a dish that each time we went through it, I said, I thought about it. I said, we should think about that. It just kept getting better. And then at the end, I said, do you think it's better than where we started? He said, it is. I said, so we want to always start with, I love this rough draft. I love this rough draft. Right. Maybe we can go somewhere with it. And even I don't think it's about, is the dish good or bad? Does it have potential or not have potential? And some dishes are good, but don't have a lot of potential. And other ones, well, that's kind of wacky, but I think it has a lot of potential. Then you can go somewhere. So that's been my role, pretty much, of just helping them with the sort of the thought processes, where it's just not a wild imagination, but an imagination that has a little bit of reasoning and thought process.
You're trying to get it to the best place it could be. To make it the best version of that dish.
Yeah, and so people always ask me, have you ever done the dish that turned out to be terrible? And I said, yes. Only when I didn't stop and think about it for a minute. You have to stop and say, is that a good idea? I'm not sure.
I love how you use the word process too, because really focusing on the process is truly how you get to the best end result, right? Instead of starting out and saying you have an idea or you want to accomplish one dish. And this is true in so many other realms, and something you said that really struck me, where you mentioned to your chef, we're starting with a rough draft, but maybe let's see how we can improve it. It's very similar to chess. It would be a very good chess player. It's a very, very, root concept in the game of chess and many games is, you see a good move, just wait a second, let's look for a better one.
Yeah, no, that's true. And sometimes those little fun philosophical points that you ask them to say this.
Yeah.
Does anyone go out and try to get lost? Can you get lost on purpose, or do people know they're getting lost when they're getting lost? It's just a way for them to think about their idea, that I would say.
My wife tells me when I'm lost.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
That's why you only go to restaurants close to your house.
That's exactly right.
You can walk home.
So anyway, that's why I tell them,
Yeah.
as you're working on a dish, you can get lost. I think that you got lost there a little bit. You lost the focus. You lost
Right.
where you were trying to get originally.
Chef, tell us what's on the foodie can.
So then the famous tortilla soup, which was our first, one of our early dishes in sort of Texas and Southwest cooking. That
Katie, you gonna handle that?
Is it okay if I do this, Chef?
Yeah, sure. It's a free form. It's a feeling. Where we went all the way back to the beginning, and instead of using chicken stock and chili powder, we went back buying the dried chilies, peeling them, toasting, everything done by the most authentic, I guess you would hope to say, way. And we did that quite a bit. We found that the best way to go forwards is first to go backwards. Go back to the source, go back to how it was originally done. Because, it's quite typical that there'll be shortcuts here and there, and so I said, let's just do it first without any shortcuts. And then we'll go from there. So tortilla soup has been on the menu for a long time. And
classic dish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best looking tortilla soup.
It really is.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it with, I love it with the avocado inside, the crisp tortillas, and then the little queso fresco that kind of poaches in there. It's almost like these little dumplings of cheese. And so it's really wonderful.
Yeah, this is definitely, I am a huge fan of tortilla soup. I often have this at any, meal that I go most of the time.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
And find that right balance.
Oh, yes.
where you have the-
Yes.
Where it's not tomato soup with tortillas.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a
Because
winner.
it is in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yeah, we roast all the tomatoes, lightly caramelize them in the oven.
Doing it right.
And we did,
Oh.
yeah,
There you go.
Shaved it.
Could have
saved it. Nice job.
Oh, no.
Did you?
It's a good thing I have another dress for
Okay, good.
tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Foodies and Friends
Yeah.
always requires backup clothing.
Yeah. No problem.
Yes, sure.
That.
Yes, of course.
And then a little ceviche, another one sort of from the Gulf Coast.
These
kind
all
of
go
feeling.
together, yes.
Chef. And then,
Yes,
yes,
all go together.
yeah, and this is, we sort of make the ceviche right there in the bowl with a little lime.
Oh, what do you
Orange broth to it. And so it's just sort of done right in the bowl. Really kind of beachy. It's a beachy kind of dish. But fresh tuna, ahi tuna, everything cut, hand cut. And, another kind of dish that sort of stands in the quality of the products that you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Always tasty. Always tasty.
Super tasty. This is definitely something that I'm gonna try.
And for the summer now, and for I don't expect August to cool down at all, so we're going to stay with the light and fresh.
So you are one of your kind of claims to fame. You have many, but there was one particular dish that you are very well known for. Talk about that dish and how that came about. I know you've talked about it a million times, Chef, but this is my first time with you and show, and I've got to ask all the regular questions.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can be famous for a dish that you never thought you would be famous for, because I never. And the story, but the coffee roasted filet.
Coffee roasted filet.
Yeah, which
if you've never had it, will blow your mind.
And it's beautiful.
The first time I had
It's 30 years old now. And it's
Wow.
It's still.
You don't see that very often. Like, how many other cities can you go to and hear about a dish that one guy created? I mean, I don't know. It's not that common.
No, that dish was one that I learned kind of went out all over the country.
Yeah.
And I was in New York once doing an event, and someone from the Culinary Academy was there. And I was doing the coffee roasted tenderloin. said, you know, we teach this in the school. I said,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I said, why, you teach this in the school? He said, yeah, we teach that dish. I said, oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And then they said you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I said, are you sure that's it? And we've done it so many different ways, but then he said, you know, it's the most copied dish in the country. I said, really?
Wow.
So I remain clueless.
I didn't know that part.
How do you truly feel about that? Do you, when you see, because you've probably gone to other cities and you've seen a version of what you created,
Actually,
and
I
they have no
have.
idea that you
Yeah,
are the genius behind it. What does that make you feel
And
like?
I love it when the waiter presents. We have incredible special. Our chef created this. It's beef coffee. Really, that's so fascinating.
I must try this
You
dish.
should have like an ID card or something, you know, creator of.
Right.
So is it brand new, this dish that they just did?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's, you know, that's the nature of the business. A lot of times the idea goes around without the author.
It's like writing a hit song and you're visiting another city and turn on the radio and there's your song.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah. And that was by, I don't know that's by. But I would take more, it wasn't like I sat down and had this great sense of magic. It was an accident at home. I was cooking Christmas dinner, knocked the coffee mill over and said,
Come on.
No.
Let's do it.
It was a little bit like that, but you know, that there's that old saying about the prepared mind.
Yeah.
I had known that the coffee was used sometimes for beefy sort of flavors, and the old story about the grandma adding the extra leftover coffee to the braised beef.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't, and I always say every brand, most ideas don't come just completely out of the blue. There's
Right.
always some history to it, sort of paid out respect. But so I looked at the coffee and said, oh, I wonder, in coffee books, I just roll the flavor, all stuck beautifully. Wow. I said, I wonder if this, and I still remember this. He said, I wonder if this is going to work. I said, well, it's just relatives. You know, I mean, they don't-
Not a tough audience.
Yeah.
What are they going to say?
What do they know?
So we did it, and the thing that blew me away was that it transforms at a certain point where it doesn't taste like beef and coffee. It tastes like this other thing. It's much more interesting. And that's why
That's the magic.
it's not so much beef and coffee.
So you were surprised.
I was surprised too, which I think is always a good moment when you're pleasantly surprised that, wow, that's good. And then it just kind of went from there on its own a little bit. And
About what year
so
did this all start taking off?
it started around 1990, and the interesting thing was, that's why I say when you're famous for something that you almost never did. So I had done it, and I thought, that's fine. It's fine. Then we did a wine, it was for Ridge Winery. And I said, yeah, let's try that. Because it was for 100 people, so we did a whole 10. And it was Cabernet, everything. Ridge Montebello, everything. So that was good. I said, okay, that's fine. Then we just got moved on. And the guys in the kitchen said, we should put that on the menu. I said, I don't know. That's okay. Yeah, but yeah. And so I kind of resisted for some reason, which I apparently had forgotten why. I don't know why. And then we started doing it, and that's when it took off. So maybe it was 92 by the time we actually put it on the menu, got around. But it was, it was funny how you almost don't do things that you became famous for.
Yeah, right around the time the Rockets started winning their world championships.
Yeah.
early.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, right. We've got another item on the
Speaking of
food
history,
cam.
while Katie is switching out the food cam, so from your perspective, how, again, that you were instrumental in really helping Houston have a signature in singing, how have you watched it change yourself? I mean, what do you think about the I mean, we're a culinary city now, we really are.
No, I think, and in fact, I think it's just fabulous, and a number of chefs all do different things, different styles, and all the, not only sort of the Texas and Americanness of it, but also are involved in different ethnic groups and so forth. And been very, very vibrant. I think it's, and so I would say, so when I started, things were a little bit sort of this continentalism, which was an interesting sort of thing. It was dishes that you're supposed to do because they're good and they do them all over the world. It was this sort of
Classic.
And everybody likes them.
Sure.
Everybody's gonna eat
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with it, but even things I read, oh, well, you can get it in continental cuisine in this city and that city. Every place is the same. That was the whole idea.
Right.
And so we thought, oh, okay. So there was nothing wrong with it, but we were looking for this sort of vivacious Houston
Sure, color.
style. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now it's really and I remember the idea is these are the dishes you need to know how to make because that's
Right.
And now there's not that quite anymore. There's still good technique and so forth. But now it's an expression of personality of the chef. And I think that's the thing too along the way was that so Dean Farring and Stephen Piles, myself, all of this Texas Southwest thing, but we were each one so different. We could do a dinner together. And the dishes were totally different, and each one had a personality.
Right.
And I think that's what I look for everybody now to see. You're not really, copying somebody, you're just expressing yourself and you sort of see it. I think that's where there's a lot of power.
A lot of exciting things happening. I think Katie and I there have been many a time we were just like, we get done with a segment like this, we've never been to that restaurant, we're like, wow.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
There's a lot of wow here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is, we're lucky.
Well, and you're one of the founding fathers of,
He created
of how lucky we are in Houston. All right, we've got another item on our foodie cam. Chef, walk us through this deliciousness.
Yeah, so these next two dishes, I know the one thing that your mom was a big fan of for Houston Restaurant Weeks, which I always did and she always thanked me, was that we try to create something new for Houston Restaurant Weeks, not just to always make it a bit creative. So next two dishes, this is a heritage chicken, Green Circle Farm Great Bird with a little sort of a nod, again, Southwestern with a Marcona almond guajillo chili sauce, a little salad greens in the top, a little fried finger potato, really thin and crispy, and Marcona almonds to finish it. Kind of tasty dish.
Any heat to that chili?
Just enough. That's meaningless. It's just enough, for who? But just a little bit to keep it kind of vibrant. So it has a lot of different aspects to it. It's a little bit sort of like Texas barbecue in it, a little bit of Spanish influence, Mexican influence. So they always say
this is not on your 80 menu right now.
it's going to be. We're launching it with Houston Restaurant.
Breaking news. HRW exclusive. Let's go, baby.
More breaking news.
More breaking news. I love that. Thank you for keeping with the tradition.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, was to do something new. Doing something new for us to make it. So we have to do the tortilla soup because everybody loves it, coffee roasted filet. So we do those traditional ones, but at the same time, it's nice to do something.
Yes, well, and you're still following the rules because I guarantee you, my mother, even though she's not here, she's wherever she is, she's still directing, and I know you understand that.
I understand that.
Every that is just, we are still going by the playbook. What is this?
This is
next foodie cam item.
If one new dish was not enough, we're going to do two of them. This is the roasted salmon with a green mole sauce.
Oh my goodness.
Baby.
So this one, it's almost
baby.
the dish has two aspects to it. The mole sauce with the vegetable alone is its own dish. So in Mexico, you'll see green mole usually with vegetables. In this case, it's green mole thickened with pumpkin seeds with poblano chili, and then zucchini and squash and so forth with it. And the salmon just sort of nestled in the side. So I'm very excited about that one. I think it's just kind of
you guys can, there you go.
I think Robert and I were chatting. Katie's heard this story 20 times already. But I just got back from Mexico City, and one of the things that blew me away, and I really sought out, whether it was eating at a food stall or a restaurant or whatever, tried to do my homework. I was knocked out by the sauces.
Yeah, all I heard about for a week was the sauces.
Like everywhere you went to, it could just be like the salsa that they put down first, but it was just boom, so good.
Yeah, what's so interesting about that is, so when I started, this was last century. And we were doing very much, French cooking model. But, Paul Bocuse, and they were all great. Sure. So we all wanted to be the saucier because that seemed like to be the highest level of making the sauces. Right. And French cuisine was all about sauces, all those French sauces. And then we started studying Mexican food and we said, hey, wait a minute. There are some pretty cool sauces here. And then we got into the mole thing and the grinding thing and so forth. And we said, wow. We said, the French got nothing on this. Right? But we did
they should come to Texas.
Yeah, we did see a little bit more that we could sort of own it a little bit, I guess. So we kind of followed that path. Yeah. Learned a lot along the way, not only about flavor and building flavors, but how many other ways there were to make interesting.
Now, as you were, and like you said, some of your other contemporaries, as the Southwestern cuisine was evolving and really starting to just grow from this little seed, did you take any trips down south to explore a little bit, search for some spices, techniques, anything like that?
I like that explore versus steal ideas. The exploring thing. But no, of course we did, and mostly to learn and to. So to be, now, this is all before the internet. There was no internet.
I remember that.
So we were dependent on books, and we'd read the books, and there was some great author published some great things at the time. At the same time, I said, we're looking at a picture and reading the recipe. So in this case, let's go find out about it. Let's see it up close. And sometimes you can make a connection. Someone say, oh, you come down, we'll show you around this and that.
Right.
And then you can see it up close. At the same time, and I remember this, that we were trying to do this Southwest Texas thing. We weren't trying to copy Mexico per se. So the idea was, let's learn something and bring it back home. And so that was my idea, the idea of the local plus the souvenirs. So there are plenty of souvenirs, things that we sort of bought.
Ruben's happy right now.
Also known as, no need to recreate the wheel. So, and then, which actually most of food history goes like that. You follow the sales, you go to the port cities, and these how things get distributed. And a good idea is a good idea.
Right.
And the great cookbook writer Diana Kennedy, she had told me that if you're going to use ingredients that are very traditional to Mexico, study Mexico. See, they've had a lot of time to work it out. You can look and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so those little techniques, you see something, wow. And it could be at any level. It could be something like little taco thing. So it's killer. And how do they get those flavors and so forth? And I remember how we would, so in French cuisine, you get like thyme, you pick every little leaf at all. So we would get cilantro and pick every little leaf off. And then when the stems were left over, one goes, can I have that for sauce? They make it. How come theirs taste so much better than ours?
Yeah,
Because
I used to do the same thing.
the more in the stems, the leaves. So then we learned a whole another way of thinking about capturing the whole piece.
Talk about what is on the foodie can.
Yeah, there's the coffee roasted
Here we go.
tenderloin with the creamy potatoes and we'll see a sauce, a little mushroom duck salad on top, which a little bit of coach in it, but it's a little nod to the French thing that we always have these little nods here and there just to remind ourselves that things.
Well,
That's
that is a beautiful dish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the presentation, you guys, it's spectacular. Knock it out of the park as always, but I mean, that's a good looking dish.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, so that's it. And for use in a restaurant, if you've been doing it for a while, because it's kind of not only ours sort of a signature, but everyone loves coming for it. So it's part. We do half brand new things, half things that are very traditional.
Well, and that is that, and you know very well, because you were good friends with my mother for such a long time, and one of the very earliest of supporters of Houston Restaurant Weeks.
Year one.
Year one, 2003, that was, kind of the strategy of the recipe for Houston Restaurant Weeks, which is allowing the restaurant to, or giving the ability to the restaurant to put some of their best-selling favorites, the ones that diners are hearing about and coming in for every night. But then, as you said, having to being able to put new dishes on to debut them and hopefully acquire some new customers to get you through the fall season.
And just add that excitement to it, that it's not just a lot of creativity going into it.
It's
more
amazing.
dish.
Hey, while we get ready for the second dish, I can tell you that salmon is spectacular.
I know. I can
And
see
that
you.
green
I
mole
can see
is
your. I can
nuts.
see your
You gotta
response.
try this.
Yeah,
Have you
I'll
had
try
this?
it. No, I haven't. I'll try
God.
it. Yeah. I can see your face.
Well
I knew
done,
right
sir.
away. Yeah.
Well,
It's almost just the sauce.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's rare you get a dish that the sauce goes with the vegetables even better than with the.
I'm telling you, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never had it here, and that's fantastic. I've had a lot of salmon because a lot of people have it on the menu,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of average salmon.
Yeah.
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 That's fantastic.
Yeah.
For a great fish, and it supports those flavors, that richness.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
and
the
then sometimes
beautifulness.
you stop
Look at
getting the
that
salmon,
green
and
mole.
you kind of pick and choose your spots where you're going to get it. Oh, we actually have two more dishes.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I think all the desserts are coming in.
Yeah, we got desserts and then Okay,
Katie's
what's on the
energy level just went up like
what's on the
30%.
foodie cam? What's on the foodie cam? It's beautiful.
So
whatever it is.
that's the cheesecake
Oh,
that we
wow.
worked very hard to make gluten-free too.
Oh, how
Which
nice.
is really tasty. And it's one of those things that I don't really ever think about cheesecake much, but every time I take a bite, I say, I didn't think about cheesecake more often. It's very tasty.
Yeah,
Very tasty.
it's beautiful. You want to hand me that the chocolate dessert too? We've got one more dessert.
Hey, you're showing incredible restraint.
I know. Well, Well, you know, when I'm in work
showing
mode, it's sometimes tough for me to eat. Like, we're in party mode, and I'm starstruck with our chef here. So you know, we got one more item on our foodie cam here, chef.
Yeah, so this one, you know, I love vanilla, but chocolate. So this little flourless chocolate, again, gluten free. Just sort of soft and creamy with the chocolate mousse on top, candied orange peels, and we've been doing that one for a long time, and it's never disappointing.
Yeah.
Always tastes served just slightly warm.
Beautiful dish.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Always good, and the beauty of restaurant weeks is you're getting dessert.
Yeah.
Dessert comes with it. So.
Well, and this is truly, you know, one of the restaurants that really, the value and, of course, the signature dessert. Yes, of course. The value and the variety is just
I
off
present
the
it
charts,
to
you know.
you.
Well, yes, we even have this picture on our website. That's how good this is. Okay, all right.
This might be the clincher. Katie
Yeah,
loses it.
I'm done.
Yeah, she loses
Yeah.
it here. Just 10, 9,
Yeah.
7.
But yeah, this is exactly, you know, for diners who may not have been to the Annie or a restaurant, you know, with these kinds of dishes. Houston Restaurant Weeks gives them
Sure.
a chance to do that at a valuable price, and you're able to try multiple dishes, and most importantly, you are helping Houston Food Bank because
I think that should never be overlooked. That this is a great way to have a nice meal with friends and so forth. But this is Houstonians helping Houston be a better place. And I really think, and not to lose sight of that fact that to be a great city, everyone should have something to do.
Amen.
So, and I think that's sometimes you lose track of that. So it's not only thanking the restaurants, but thanking Houstonians who come and support it. That's very good.
Yep, and my mom felt that way too.
It's kind of its own little ecosystem when it happens. You know, the foodies that can't wait for it, the restaurants that are, you know, obviously eager to participate.
Yep.
And then you get the new people that
Sure.
this is their first time or whatever. They're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what is this?
New
This is
experience, new taste,
Yeah.
new choices.
And how many, you said it this morning, how many restaurants this year?
Oh my goodness, you guys, 275 on the menu, with more coming too, because we're still, you know, we evaluate every single menu for value. I'm not sure everybody knows that. Every menu that comes in, we do or Houston Food Bank does a menu valuation to ensure that the diner is getting a good value, because that is a core concept of the event. So it really is a very strong point to bring somebody into your restaurant.
Well, Robert, you've been incredibly generous with your time.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure
Thank you.
to spend. You know, even though it's usually 2.5 minutes of live television.
But this is more fun.
This has been a lot more fun, and just being able to sit and chat with you is an honor.
No,
It's
good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We didn't have to do it all in one breath.
No, we could actually breathe. And again, the chicken, if I didn't say so, that sauce,
It's great sauce.
Yeah.
great. Yeah, you guys are just, you know, so impressive.
Yeah.
Katie, gift card giveaway before we wrap
Yes, make sure you guys check out our Instagram. We're doing $100 gift card giveaways every single day, started on July 15th, going through the end of the event, which is Labor Day, September 5th. Never done that before, never done daily gift card giveaways. I think that's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty, so
Absolutely.
just head on over to our Instagram and you will see how to win. It's pretty easy, just tag friends, so, yeah.
And one last recommendation from me, if you've never been to the put it on your list. Houston Restaurant Weeks is probably a great time to sample it, and maybe you'll get lucky and see the man himself.
Did we do this last dessert?
Did we?
We have
Goodness.
one more dessert,
I'm
a
trying
really
to-
famous dessert.
There's always one.
Yes, a
I'm trying
very
to leave
famous
the building.
dessert, yeah. Fruity
Katie,
cam.
it's all you. Fruity cam.
Fruity
I can hold it up
cam.
if
Yeah.
Fruity cam's.
Chef, you want
Ah,
to
there it
say?
is.
There we go. Gotta give it a mention. What
Yeah,
that?
this is a little lemon chiffon cake with lemon curd and blueberries, but I love it from the beginning. Something about chiffon cakes, but it's very close to my favorite food in the world. The donut has this little slight donut thing to it, lemony and very, very, very tasty.
Yeah, definitely my favorite thing on the
Shout
menu.
out to your
Yes.
pastry chef.
Unfortunately, it's a dessert that tastes good for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to be careful with that.
Unfortunately.
You know what?
Good with a cup of coffee, good at lunch, and good at dinner.
That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
All right, well, we're wrapping up.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
diving in because I can't wait to get into this.
Get in there, Katie.
Yeah,
All right, guys. So
getting
here's the
into
deal. Robert, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, just been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I hope you get to do it again. And
Yeah, this
guys,
has been an honor.
Houston Restaurant Weeks, we're a week away.
1 week away.
2022 is going to be amazing. Sign up for those gift cards because Katie's been giving them out like Tic Tacs,
Yeah.
to everybody.
Make
So
your reservations.
make your reservations.
Food
Check out
Bank.
your menus.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Go in. If you're gonna discover something that you will discover one of your new favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That does it for us. Katie, when are we back?
Believe it or not, we're back Monday, or I'm sorry, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday. Today is Monday.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock, we'll be at the Houston Food Bank for a special edition of Foodies and Friends. Friday, a special edition of Foodies and Friends at Tony's.
Call your friends. Tell the neighbors. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.